Mr. Worf. Fire.
Excel is the world's most flexible problem-solving tool. And do I have a problem for Excel to solve? Could I recreate Space Invaders in Excel in just one formula? A dynamic formula able to recreate the gameplay. No special Excel functions, no VBA code, and no macros. Just logic and arithmetic. Space Invaders was invented in 1978 by Tomohiro Nishikado. Not only did he design the gameplay, he also did the artwork, the sound, and his concept was so revolutionary, he even built a better computer than anything that existed at the time just to realize his vision. This vision made Space Invaders the highest grossing computer game of all time at nearly $14 billion. There's an urban legend about Space Invaders, which is that the game was so popular in Japan that it led to a shortage of 100 yen coins.
This appears to be bullshit.
Arcade machines were regularly emptied, the coins banked, and returned into circulation. Space Invaders, like a lot of other arcade games of the time, was played on a TV screen that was rotated by 90 degrees. The screen was black and white, but the game did have colour, using a clever bit of computer memory-saving trickery. See-through plastic. If you look closely during the gameplay, you can see the laser change in colour as it transitions between sections. The bottom was covered with green see-through plastic, and the top of the screen with red see-through plastic. I'm recreating the portrait orientation of the game with 224 columns and 256 rows. Conditional formatting is a feature in Excel which colours cells depending on what they contain. When there is nothing happening at a part of the screen, the formula will output 0 and these cells will be black. The formula will return a number greater than 0 when there's something going on, like an alien moving. So the conditional formatting will colour those cells white. If it's below row 73, it'll be green, and above row 184, it'll be red. Here's the starting point, a black screen and a line denoting the bottom of the gameplay area. You're put in control of a laser cannon defending the Earth from wave after wave of Space Invaders. Space Invaders is a fixed shooter game, which is a type of shoot 'em up, where you can just move in one direction. Space Invaders wasn't the first game of this type, with Missile Radar in 1974 and Guided Missile in 1977. In both those games, there was a distinctive Cold War vibe. Space Invaders took this concept into outer space. I want a formula where I change a few input values and the formula outputs update accordingly. I'm not just colouring in each cell by setting them to a fixed value either. Each cell contains the same formula. The output of the formula changes depending where on the screen the cell is and depending on these inputs. The starting point for the cannon, like most components of Space Invaders, is an ellipse. An ellipse is to a circle what a rectangle is to a square. The formula for the gun is pretty much the same as the cannon, except that it has different inputs. Both are ellipses, but the cannon is wide and short, and the gun is narrow and tall. Here I've placed the gun incorrectly. I have ranges at the top and to the side that provide counts of the rows or columns based on certain conditions. For the gun, I'd counted the number of rows incorrectly. But if I add an offset, the gun moves to its rightful place on top of the cannon. At the start of the game there are 4 complete arches, your defensive bunkers, which give you some protection against the invaders. These arches are a double-edged sword. Although they protect you, you can't hit some invaders at certain times without destroying your own bunker. The invaders destroy your bunkers from above, and you destroy your bunkers from below. But like a medieval archer, if there's a tiny gap in your defensive wall, you can fire through that. Although in the real game, you and the aliens can shoot through the bunkers, I haven't included that functionality. The bunkers are one long rectangle which I've split up at the right point into 4. Then cut the top corners off. Finally, the arch underneath is another ellipse equation, which I've superimposed on the square. I've included a repeating range at the top at the right intervals, so I need only one equation for all 4 bunkers. That's the forces of good sorted, now for the forces of evil. During development, Tomohiro tried tanks, planes, and ships, but they just didn't look right. Humans were easier to animate, but Tomohiro's company Taito forbade using humans because a computer game encouraging people to shoot humans would be immoral. The game was initially called Space Monsters,
I'm not a monster.
but it was renamed to Space Invaders. You're pitted against 5 rows of 11 invaders. The octopus-looking invader was inspired by War of the Worlds. And keeping to a piscine theme, the other 2 aliens were based on squids and crabs. The crabs on rows 1 and 2 are worth 10 points. The components of the crab are an ellipse for the body, cut out the eyes, add the mouth, the claws, and then moving the claws. As with the bunkers, I have a repeating row above and a repeating column off to the side, which lets me build 1 crab but replicate it 22 times. These guys are worth 20 points on rows 3 and 4. I built another ellipse for the body, cut out the eyes, added the antennae, the arms, and then moved the claws for the animation. I had to add in an armpit for this guy too. I think this is the most iconic of the Space Invader aliens because it looks the most alien. The others do look like crabs and octopodes, but I struggle to see the squid in this one, and I think that's why this is the alien everyone thinks of when they think of Space Invaders. These guys are worth 30 points, and they are the real sneaky ones. All the aliens move 2 pixels left or right throughout the game, until you get to the last alien. Then it moves 2 left but 3 right, making it tougher to gauge a leading shot. The octopus is another half ellipse for the body, cut out the eyes, add the mouth, and the tentacles. The mysterious saucer. Mysterious because it appears at random and you don't know how many points you get for it. Only it doesn't appear at random. If you fired an odd number of times, the saucer comes from the left. If you fired an even number of times, it comes from the right. The saucer appears after 600 refreshes in the game. In order to create the appearance of movement, the game is drawn on the screen in one position and then redrawn each time something moves, updating the screen for the new positions. Also, the saucer only appears if there are more than 8 aliens on screen. Otherwise, hitting the saucer would be too easy. The score you get for hitting the saucer depends on how many shots you've had. So to get the maximum score, you should hit the saucer on a cycle of every 8 shots. Only there's a bug in the scoring mechanism, meaning that if you haven't hit the saucer after 8 shots, you have to wait another 15 shots to get the 300. This invasion is going to be over very quickly if the cannon can't fire. The laser beam is single fire. You can't fire another shot while there is an active shot on screen. Now I have a laser beam.
Now I have a machine gun.
I want the aliens to be destroyed when I hit them. I set a collection of conditional flags to true at the start of the game, then selectively change them to false once I've hit an alien. I've used a decimal to binary conversion to help me do this. 4095 converted to binary looks like this. Let's say that I hit the second alien from the left. That alien has been destroyed, so I want to set it to 0. That equates to 3071. And here it is, the formula for Space Invaders. The cannon, laser, bunkers, all 55 aliens, and the saucer. To put all this into action, I've created my own RAM. This table recreates the movement of the game, making sure to move the invaders down the line when they hit the sides. The aliens bring impending doom closer only when they hit the far right or far left of the screen. So you can buy yourself some more time by concentrating on the aliens at the edges. Let's see Space Invaders in action one more time. Don't forget to put in the comments your favourite old games, and I'll animate the best suggestions in Excel. Thanks for watching.